Aren't all quality of earnings the same? There's no difference between a reputable firm and some firm that's trying to figure out how to deliver something to you for $5,000 or $10,000 with the minimal work. Well, let's talk about a different scenario where you know what to do. So you're going to war and you're looking at a bulletproof vest. If it works, a bullet would have killed you and it saves your life. If it doesn't work, a bullet pierces through you and you die. Are you shopping at Walmart for your bulletproof vest? Or are you going to a specialty store that has the best ratings for the quality of their materials and how few times a bullet gets passed? So there's catastrophic risk with your life and you get it, but it's catastrophic risk with your finances and you're thinking about going cheap. So let's talk about it more. In the following clip, I have a conversation with two prominent M&A attorneys and we go back and forth on what makes sense because all of us feel like solid representation is mission critical to get good deals done. And let's be frank, most of you folks have families, responsibilities, real capital. There's too much on the line for you to go cheap. Don't go to Walmart for your quality of earnings.
Yeah. So there's three main ways that I thought QoE providers for small deals suck. The first way was that a person will say, hey, I'm buying a deal. I want a somewhat branded QoE. So I want like a top 100 CPA firm. I want the firm the private equity guys go to. So the guy who sells you is the same guy that sold the private equity firm down the street, but you don't get the A players on your deal. You get the dudes fresh out of accounting school, right? That are making their bones on your $1 million bet.
Yeah.
And screwing a lot of stuff up and having to correct it and the timeline's blown. And so you get the C players at the big shops. That was one suck. The other suck was a $2 million deal is like doing a deal at the family reunion, right? No, it's real human to human. It's like I'm buying Joe's business that he built for 20 years in his hometown. You know, he sponsors all the sports in that town. He's put kids through college. His CPA, his controller is some dude from high school that knew how to count really well and just he trusted with his money. And his lawyer is probably some hometown dude that this might be his third transaction. And so when you bring like a audit-centric QoE firm into that environment, it's like bringing Wall Street to the family reunion. It's like oil and water. And when you're trying to get a QoE done in 4 weeks or get a deal done in 90 days and your QoE firm causes tension in your deal, not you as a buyer, your QoE firm, which I've seen happen, you just paid for a problem. That's the second suck. The third suck was in small deals, you ain't going to get all electronic documents.
Right.
Ain't going to happen, Captain. So a lot of these firms, as soon as they get their first PDF or their first data set that's not exactly in the format that they want it to be, they effectively throw their hands up. They just ask so many questions that they can't go forward. And so now you're like 3 weeks into a 4-week QoE, 45 days into a 90-day close, and your quality of earnings firm is saying, well, the working capital is not truly on accrual basis, and the adjustments they sent aren't really accrual. And I don't know how to correct it in the quality of earnings. And I don't want to put my name on something that goes to a lender. It's not perfect. And so now their need for perfection slows your deal down and causes tension. So those are the three I thought QoE providers for small deals suck. So a lot of us are in our 30s or 40s, right? And we talk about these unsophisticated sellers. They don't know squat. They didn't go to a fancy MBA school. These sellers be running games around people all the time. I'm stupiding you into a $5 million transaction that should have been $1 million. And then all of a sudden, who's the smart one? That Wharton kid, right? Or the 60-year-old that sold his business for like 8 times what the actual EBITDA was because he was able to float some BS through his financials using his accountant, who you thought was going to be more interested in being honest than being a client service provider or maybe on the deal himself, their salesperson or whatever. These people have, it's $1 EBITDA is $4 in my pocket as a seller. Man, I really should tell the truth, but if I'm on the flex, I might lie. And then what? Because you're saying everything should be smaller for a smaller deal, but for the size of the bet the person's making, it is the kind of bet that either exponentially grows you or like, let's be honest, a lot of the people where these deals go bad, we never hear from them again.
Well, there's
right. They're just off the market. And then I also think you got to stop believing brokers and sellers just because they're old and they have brand names. You got to realize these jokers are, if they tell a story, you're going to pay 4 to 6 times that story. And you'll be talking to Lisa Forrest or Bruce Marks about what had happened was, and they're going to be like, yeah, and what's going to happen is terrible, right? There's no take back here.